Arthur Drexler, the curator of the Museum of Modern Art, in his catalog and his exhibition, Eames Furniture in the Permanent Collection of the Museum of Modern Art, cited this design as his very favorite Eames design. So if for no other reason, we need to pay attention to this chair because it was so heralded by this distinguished curator. Now, from a Eames history standpoint, we can learn a few lessons from this. Little chance to plug the first book that I did called Modern Classic, which I was privileged to work on with Eames Demetrius. And it's the first book in which I began to explore the fact that Charles and Ray Eames consistently, year by year, worked to improve their designs. When we look at the D8T1 of 1953 and then 1960, they're still using the basic flow tilt mechanism. By this 1971 chair, they've come up with a much different and actually sturdier flow tilt mechanism. I think the camera can see that. This flow tilt mechanism, while it was sourced from a third-party vendor, was finished off very nicely by the Eames office, who designed these pure cast aluminum end caps for it. As we know, Charles and Ray believe that the details are not the details, they make the product. And with the basic flow tilt mechanism, they took it as is. They later, in 1960, augmented it by putting a more human-friendly turning knob on it. And when they sourced this flow tilt mechanism, they added these aluminum end caps to give it a nice finish. This is a dated example. It's still in great condition. What we know about the process of the chair is that Ray rejected 40 cushions before finally approving the production form of this cushion. Their friend Alexander Girard supplied the textiles, as he did for all Herman Miller designs for about 20 years. This is this great Alexander Girard Naugahyde. The loose cushion does what you imagine it would do. It just fits in there loosely. It's a very sumptuous chair. A few other things. This chair was nicely used. It's got some signs of bumping into a wall here. But again, you see this is later on, as time went on, Charles and Ray found it more and more possible to source molded plastic shells that had a uniform, consistent finish and didn't have those distinctive fibers, something that they wanted to move away from. At this point, they've gone to the final base that they developed, and it's a development over the earlier Eames contract base. This came to be known as the universal base, and it's a much more natural base. In some ways, if you look at this closely, it evokes visually the look of branches of a tree. And while they weren't trying to make this look like tree branches, what Charles and Ray knew was that tree branches look the way they do from millions of years of evolution, and designers, by looking deeply at nature, can make discoveries themselves about ways in which to shape the products for people.